Welcome to the Crew Up North podcast. My name is Jennifer. This is the season finale of season 1 of the show, and I honestly couldn't be more proud and thrilled that you guys have stuck with me and taken time out of your busy schedules in order to watch or listen to each of these episodes. Thank you so much. I thought it would be fun for the season finale to do a best of clips episode. So, here we go. The top 10 best clips of 2024 and season 1. Let's roll.
I hope you don't get used to this, leaving you so little to believe in.
If you've been following the podcast, you know I like to start each episode off by eating some food from a local business. We have had some incredibly delicious things, I have to say, but one in particular really stuck out to me on the Halloween episode. So, to start things off, here is number 10, the most unique treat.
Well then, I think it's time that we dig into our snacks. So obviously I had to get us some Halloween goodies. I actually went to the farmer's market, and there is a wonderful lady there who sells freeze-dried marshmallows. And
marshmallows, cool. I've had freeze-dried other things.
right? And so she does have some holiday themed ones. In this case, we have freeze-dried eyeballs.
Love it.
And veins is what I think those are.
That's what I was thinking when I saw them. They seemed veiny.
It's so disgusting that I love it.
I'm very excited to try it. I also, though, I'm a little worried about the spill down mess that it's going to have, because every freeze-dried thing I've ever had has been this big.
Well,
Whereas these are.
we'll just say it's part of your costume.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The iris is flavored. Mine's
I think
strawberry.
the veins are flavored.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
That's what I'm getting. It's kind of almost like a fruit roll-up type thing,
Yes.
which might be what this is actually.
Holy
Looking at
smokes.
it, the veins might be like freeze-dried fruit by the foot or something.
That is such a cool idea. I'm pretty sure she's at the farmer's market all year round.
Nice.
So,
Get
you're
in
in
there.
North Bay, go check her out. She's called Permafrost. So go check
I
her
like
out.
that.
I've known Darren Sullivan for over 6 years now, and we have spent a lot of time together between doing background, stand-in, and hours upon hours of carpooling. We've shared a lot of stories, both personally and professionally. I think it's safe to say that we know each other fairly well. Well, when he was on episode 6 of the podcast, he revealed a story that even I was shocked to hear. So, coming in at number 9, here is the most surprising story.
What happened then was they wanted someone to be a body double for Mark McKinney. Mark McKinney is one of the kids in the hall, and he was the main character in this. So they wanted somebody that was similar. When a body double is someone who plays is in the shots, in the camera shots, but you never see their face because they're just using their body.
Right.
So sort of to double for the actor for shots, the walking away shots. So you're not seeing or in my case, a lot of hand shots. He was holding something, so they were using my hands.
And was it just like a scheduling thing? Like he wasn't going to be around for those shots, or they needed him for
they were
something
just
else?
kind of tedious shots. So they kind of they just get someone else to do that if they can find someone. So they paid me then to be a body double for him, and I had to wear the same costume. Now, if you look up the miniseries, the costume that he was wearing was quite.
Was it the death? He was death? Yes.
Yeah, and he was he kind of wore this, and they put the whole gear, all the gear on me, and that included this, for lack of a better way to describe it, sort of a Speedo kind of.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it was that was like you figured that would be it. I'd never do it again after doing that.
But
But
instead,
I
you're like,
kinda
when
got
do
the
I get to
bug.
wear a Speedo again?
Yeah,
When do
mhm.
I get to do that?
fortunately, never again. But anyway, but anyway, so I was lucky enough to get picked to do that, and they paid me to do it, which is nice. And I had some time off work, and part of the costume was because they were doing a lot of hand work. They wanted my hands to look just like his, and the character that he was playing had fingernail polish on, black fingernail polish on,
Right.
because he was playing the character of Death. So they had black fingernail polish on me as well. And it just so happened that at the time that I was involved at this at the city where I worked, we were having some renovations done, and I had met with construction workers a lot during that process. I was sort of the liaison for the computer department, and so I knew these guys, and I just so happened that one of the days that they had my fingernails painted black, I had shot in the morning, and then I had to go to a meeting at City Hall for 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and sit around a table with a bunch of construction guys. So they didn't want me to take the fingernail polish off.
Because you had more scenes to shoot?
I had to do some stuff in the afternoon as well, so I had to just kind of go to the city, do that, and have that quick meeting, and then off I go back to set. So I show up at this this meeting with the black fingernail polish on, and I didn't say anything, on purpose. On purpose, I didn't say anything. So I sat down and I'm just let them kind of watch, look at my fingers for a good half an hour, and then finally I spilled the beans. I kind of let them know what was going on, and they kind of had this collective sigh of relief on their face. I think. And what's this guy wearing fingernail polish for? But anyway,
what's Darren up to on his days off?
The costumes department can be kind of complicated at times, and no one knows that better than Jacob Johnston. When Jacob was here for episode 2, he revealed some unique solutions to keeping his actors' costumes dry. So coming in at number 8, the best and funniest tip.
I'm very grateful that I do get, most times, a kit fee for everything in my kit, because I have invested so much into being a costume person.
Right.
From nothing to now a couple grand worth of stuff. And it's always changing. I'm always finding like a new tool to use and stuff. Like actually on SkyMed, I don't know if I put Carter into this or not. I don't think I did. Did I saran wrap you?
What the hell?
Not saran wrap, press and seal.
What does that even mean?
So basically, because actors, background actors especially,
Oh boy.
Whenever they have coffee from Kraft and they're wearing something like that they're going to a wedding in,
Oh yeah.
it's bound to happen that somebody with
the
a
white
shaky
coats?
hand, with the white. Oh my God, there was a girl in SkyMed. First time I met her, she was an older lady, lovely. Spilt coffee on her hospital gown, her purple hospital gown. And if she watches this, she knows who she is. But it's all good.
So what did you do then?
So I was lucky. Okay, I got so lucky. I was able to run to the office, quick wash it, dry it, and get it back before she even went on.
Holy smokes.
It was great.
Wow.
So what I do, I have press and seal now, like the stuff that you use for containers and stuff.
Okay.
And it literally just it's like a sticky
Like a giant bib.
Yeah. So I just put it on my background actors at lunch.
I need to wear that all the time.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's the point now too where I start using it on my actors. Sometimes I don't always have access to like a lunch shirt or like a lunch bib, so I'm like, let's saran you up, and it works. It keeps them clean.
That's a great idea.
Because like with their luck and my friggin' luck too, they're gonna spill on them, and that happens so much.
Yeah.
Especially with background actors too.
Mm-hmm.
Happens more with background actors than it does main actors.
It's because we're really excited to eat. Like
It's like you
depending on
guys
the
never eaten before.
well,
Oh my
depending on
goodness.
the show, depends on how much we get.
Oh,
during
definitely. Yeah,
the
yeah.
day.
'Cause sometimes just a bowl of apples or like a couple granola bars.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
SkyMed was very gracious, but yeah, sometimes it is by lunchtime. We're
Definitely.
like, let's just shovel it in there.
Oh, 100%. And you're like, oh, without even seeing, oh, fuck. Actually, there's more food on me than there is in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I personally invest in Press and Seal if we can
Okay.
get them to sponsor.
Yeah, if we can figure that out.
We can figure that out.
Not what they invented it for, but that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll show them.
Yeah, yeah.
Northern Ontario is home to a rather abundant bug season, covering everything from our skin to our cars and God knows what else, you guys. It's a horror show over here during the spring and summer months. Grip Tyler Ems can certainly attest to that, and on episode 5, he did confirm that we certainly have the worst and creepiest bug season. So, coming in at number 7, the best bug story.
I remember you having an interesting story of working on Cardinal when it was shadfly season here.
Oh, God. You tell production that shadflies in Northern Ontario are apocalyptic when they roll into the lights, and they don't believe you. They don't understand. It's like,
And the shadflies are a specialty here
Yeah,
in Northern
yeah.
Ontario.
There's only a couple places in the world that get them on the level that we do here in North Bay, and it's
They rise from the lake.
yeah, and they live for 24 hours. They breathe, they reproduce and die. Like, that's
It's
their
the
entire
strange-
life.
And they smell like fish. Everything smells like
Dead,
fish.
rotting fish
Yeah.
everywhere. It's terrible. But when you play a bunch of big lights, or like anyone who lives in North Bay knows, you don't park under the lights during shadfly season, because you will come back to your car and it will look like it's hairy.
Yeah.
The wind's blowing and all their wings are moving in unison. Well,
It's like a horror movie.
yeah, and like we did one season of Cardinal, and we were shooting at the old, I think it was the old Chrysler on Lakeshore by the Wendy's, and we had a light on scaffolding, and we put it in. We turned it on as the sun was going down, and thankfully I never had to touch that light again, because within an hour, the scaffolding looked like it was moving because all these shadflies was just landing on it and coated it, and you'd watch the electrics climb up the scaffolding, and they'd have to clean off the railings as they're going. And but you tell productions, the people from Toronto or wherever that come in, and it's like no, it's like one of the 7 plagues of the apocalypse. Like, they come in and they blot out the sun. Like,
Yeah.
it's
For a couple of weeks, it's really just...
it's disgustingly they blanket everything.
Have you noticed a big difference between shooting in Northern Ontario and shooting in other cities or provinces, as far as like any, other than the shadflies, any particular obstacles or positives?
Everyone has their opinion of who has the worst mosquitoes, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, we did 6 months on a show on the East Coast, and our mosquito season's the worst, and
It's got to be here. It's got to be here.
it's here. Winnipeg, same thing. Oh yeah, our black fly season is the worst. No, it's not. The joke on the East Coast was like, yeah, the seagulls still look like seagulls out there. They're not dependent on us. It's like, yeah, your seagulls can fight our seagulls, but our mosquitoes can take out your seagulls. your mosquito season's not bad. This is not bad.
That's horrifying.
Yeah,
I
and,
actually
like,
have an allergic reaction to mosquito bites. It might be black fly bites actually, but like I completely welt up now.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about me. Maybe I'm dying inside or something, but they sense something is off and they just leave me alone now. And we don't want his blood. You see everyone on set like, oh God,
yeah.
and you're like, what?
I've got that weird Italian and British blood mixture that they're like, it's tea time and meatballs. I don't know.
I'm Scotch Irish, so maybe it's like generations of pickling. I don't know. His blood's bad. Leave him alone.
You don't want it.
Yeah.
The future for film and TV looks pretty bright for Northern Ontario, but sometimes we all need to come back down to reality. When producer and production manager Justin Kelly joined the show for episode 4, I asked him if having a studio in this area would really liven things up. His answer was, well, the best reality check.
Do you think, and there's been talks over the years, do you think that a studio would help this area?
Funny enough, just yesterday I toured the White Owl Studio.
Where is that?
That's just outside of, it's about 45 minutes outside of Sudbury.
Okay.
It's a cool facility. It's very big. I know they're going to put in an AR wall, and that's exciting. That's, you know, the latest development in the technical side of film and television. Mandalorian, all that stuff's shot on AR walls. I think we need to be smart about studio space. You can have too much of it very quickly. And it's expensive to maintain. Like a proper soundstage is, like there's heat and hydro and all of that stuff. And if it's sitting empty, then it's kind of pointless. I think that a couple of smaller sound stages would be ideal for the region. It would help us provide the filmmakers that are here and the filmmakers that are coming here with another vital tool in their toolbox to in tackling filmmaking. But we need to be honest with ourselves and realistic. Like, Marvel's not coming to North Bay.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Is having a big studio here gonna attract huge budget productions?
If we had 100,000 square feet of studio space, we don't have the labor force
Right.
to staff that.
Which goes back to your other point.
And frequently, like when you're the pandemic and the strike and stuff like that have been weird. They've been an anomaly within the industry. Routinely, you'll be doing a show in Toronto. Nobody's available. Everybody in Toronto is working.
Yeah.
Everybody up here is working. So I think that way more than building a soundstage or a series of sound stages to help Northern Ontario grow, we have to grow the labor force. Like, that's key to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 1 has featured a lot of funny moments, and nothing makes me laugh more than a little heckling, especially when it's at my own expense. I couldn't pick just one, so number 5 brings you a variety of clips for the best insults.
We're going to talk about how I'm an angel, by the way.
You're fabulous.
And how
You're
everyone
so
else
good.
is beneath me. Yes.
Definitely.
Just kidding.
Here's Jen. Here's the world.
And we'll see if my head can make it out the door when we leave. You actually gave me the opportunity, spoiler alert, to play a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I keep getting typecast as like some nice person. I don't know why.
I saw right through that. I was
exactly.
like, this- I met you once last season. I was like, well, she's awful.
Back then I was in the shop more, on set less, and now it's the complete opposite. I'm on set more, in the shop less.
My hair knows it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, so do I when I see your fucking banding, man.
Right now. Anyway, it is what it is, and we're
Yeah,
here again, and
yeah.
it's not such a bad thing that I get to spend another Sunday with you.
Oh, like I said, you know.
I mean, it is, but I'll deal with it somehow. And I did binge watch a lot, an embarrassing amount of true crime and psychological sorts of documentaries on sociopaths and
Love it.
psychopaths.
And it shows.
Turns out I didn't need the information at all. It was all
It was
inside of
just
me.
there.
We're all from different times. Like, Carter, for example, is the same age as my son.
Right.
But I consider him a friend now, and he might not admit that. But
Not in public. Anyway. I was actually a late bloomer when it came to driving.
Me too. I grew up in Toronto. Like,
Yeah.
I had the TTC. I could get anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible driver.
Well, good to know.
I have my license, but I'm a really bad
All
driver.
right, you go first when we leave.
You're not just doing a bob. You're customizing that haircut to their head shape.
She's talking about my
I
haircut.
was gonna say she's talking about her ears. Always,
And we're
can we
talking about
thin
my
this
ears.
out? It's puffy right here. And I'm like, yeah, that
because
your
I have large
ears
ears.
pushing the
Okay,
hair
everyone,
out.
like, are you happy?
When you say the name Ashley Nay, you either think hairdresser or dog story. And when she joined me on the podcast for episode 1, she brought her finest dog stories that were both hilarious and educational. Coming in at number 4, here is the best dog stories.
It was called Christmas with Tucker.
I'm wondering if I did that.
It was a Hallmark or
Was that in
whatever.
Parry Sound?
No, it was North Bay.
Okay, then no. I missed all the dog ones.
And one of the dogs' name was Spitfire, and like we're trying to get this dog to like run across like this field or something, like he's like going to get his little buddy, and she's just yelling, "Spitty, come! Spit, come! Spitty, come!" I'm dying in a fucking ditch. Like, I can't listen to this for the whole scene. She's just yelling it, like, "Spitty, come!" And I'm like, "Stop." I don't think you know what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't realize how that's coming across. Were there children around? Or?
Oh yeah, like
Oh,
the actor the dog was trying to find as a child.
Okay.
Probably didn't even register any of it. Obviously she didn't. I'm like, just call her Spitfire. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to shorten it.
Yeah, do the
You
whole
know,
thing
do
in
the
this
whole thing,
situation.
yeah.
It's best. So did you have to process that dog too? How do you
No.
process a dog?
A lot of the times, like, you don't really. I haven't had too many experiences where I've actually had to process animals. The one on Shelby was because so like one dog was really good at running and like one dog was really good at like sitting down, like just two completely different personalities. So, like, one was used for like the high energy scenes, the other one was used for like the more chill scenes type
Right.
thing, right? And they didn't match.
Oh.
So like I had to literally take the double dog and make it look as close to the real dog as possible, that at least on camera you don't know the difference.
Like you give him a
between the
comb
two.
over or something?
No,
Little
I
mustache?
literally, it was funny because they were like, can't you just go get streaks and tips, which was always the like, it's like spray, like hairspray paint. It's really harsh. It's full of alcohol. It comes off like easy with alcohol, harder with water.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm not using that on a fucking dog. Like, there's, like, I personally can't use that on a dog. Like, that just seems like it's not the right product.
So their haircuts match, but their coloring didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Their coloring did not, which is again why it should have been a makeup artist sort of thing. It was more the like painting the spots to give like
Right.
you know. So I ended up going to like the Perry Sound Walmart that night and getting like a shit ton of kids paints, like non-toxic paint, to be like, I don't know what else to use on this thing. Like, I'm assuming at some point kids paint's been tested on animals, so as long as I'm not the one doing it,
Right.
like, you know, or at least the ingredients of the kids paint have probably been tested on animals, unfortunately. But so I just wanted to use something that was going to be safe enough, that would come off easy enough. If I had to reapply it, I didn't care. It was more like the dog was so scared. Like, she was just like sitting on my little processing table, like shaking as I was painting her. And I felt awful. I'm like, this is like the worst job ever. It wasn't. It was just like, you know, kind of
Did she get used to it by the end?
Yeah, like she was fine. She didn't love it for sure.
Navigating a film and TV career is not for the faint of heart, and no one knows that better than Justin Kelly. After 30 years in the business, he's persevered through it all, and he gave us some guidance on how to do so ourselves. Coming in at number 3, here is the best advice.
Obviously, with your long-standing career, you've had to persevere, I'm sure, through many things. What would you say to someone who is in the film industry and is either really feeling the grind and is super exhausted right now, or on the other side, not getting enough work and just really just feels like quitting?
There is no shame in quitting. Like, it's over the years, I remember, like, we would see somebody leave the industry, oh, you couldn't hack it. Like, and that's not the case. That was stupid. That was the cowboy shit we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That, you know, like, that is a lousy attitude. You know, we have to prioritize quality of life. And if you're not seeing your kids and you're not getting enough sleep and your health is suffering, you have to make the smart decision. But all that said, this isn't for the faint of heart. You have to persevere. You have to work hard. If you want to create more opportunities for you to earn a living, diversify your skills. You don't just have to be a driver. You could also be a background performer, or you could also be a pretty fantastic office PA, or an assistant production coordinator. Like we were talking about earlier, we want to attract these 18-year-olds to come into the industry, and be exposed to everything and see the different things, the different opportunities that they have. Well, there's people who've already been in the industry for 10 years who have had that access. Like if you're a costume designer or a truck supervisor or a hairstylist or whatever, and you're not getting enough work, learn another skill as well.
That's a good point.
I would love to see more women working in gripping and lighting and and vice versa. Like there aren't departments that are chick departments. There aren't departments that are dude departments. Like everybody can do everything.
Yep.
Produce. Like, you work in film and television. You've created your own show.
Somehow I'm still doing it. I don't know.
No, but that's what you have to do. You have to create your own opportunities.
It's true.
I think you've done a great job. I love this show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My little podcast is still new and obviously still gaining traction, so the view count is roughly the same for all of the episodes and clips. Except one particular clip on Instagram that gained nearly 6 times the views than all of the others. Jacob Johnston talked about the worst things that he has to deal with in the costumes department. So coming in at number 2, here is the extended version of the fan favorite.
So we've talked about some interesting stuff and positives.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling you have some information about the not so glamorous side of doing wardrobe.
Oh, God.
I feel like we really need to get in for this one. Just really snuggle in and...
When people hear the word costumes, they automatically think of, like, glamour, right? It's not. No, but I really do, like, love my job. It is so much fun. It's a lot of work. But I always tell my actors when they're like, oh, sorry, here's my, like, stinky, sweaty socks. I always say, don't worry, sweetheart. I've seen it, felt it, smelt it all before. And that's unfortunately the truth, you know?
Yeah.
You've seen some crazy shit. You've smelt a lot of stuff. And sometimes, too, at the end of the day, if they've only worn it for, like, one scene, but sometimes if they're sweaty, we will do the sniff test.
Yeah, you have to really get it up there?
Exactly.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah, to make sure
Is
we
that
can
the
either...
standards?
Pretty much.
You pretty much have to put it in the nostril.
Right up there
Okay.
Sometimes we have to taste it. Far from tasting, but still. But yeah, we gotta sometimes get our hands in dirty places.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the
worst?
What's the abs? Let's just go there.
Oh,
What is
God.
the worst?
I do a
People-
lot of hockey shows recently in the past few years. And a lot of the thermals are pretty dank sometimes. Sometimes ripped to shreds.
Ripped.
Like it's almost like a security blanket for some of these hockey players.
What are they doing in there?
I don't know. It's like a security blanket. Like they're like it's just a string that's holding things up.
Wow.
Sometimes, you know. Not too long ago, the other day, I was picking so much like cat hair off somebody.
In which garment?
Some dresses.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the dresses.
In the dresses, yeah.
How
like,
did that even happen?
Don't know. Wish I knew.
No cat on set.
No
and
cat on
yet-
site.
Well, here we are at number 1, and I wanted to end things off with the most memorable moment. But what could possibly be that memorable? Well, maybe something that I had to do twice. Maybe something that I am laughing about now, but was crying about at the time. Here we are, number 1, and the most memorable moment has to be the dog ate my podcast. And yes, I talked about it the entire episode, so here are all of the clips.
Feels a little like deja vu talking to you. It's the strangest thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like we've had this conversation before.
Yes, we have actually.
Huh. And it's almost like someone's dog might have eaten my podcast. It's almost like
Oh,
It's-
were you glancing over at Carter?
I was looking at the camera, but he is sitting right
He's
behind
right,
it.
yes. He can elaborate, but we'll elaborate for him.
We'll elaborate for him. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. This is a podcast, and I feel like Podcasts are all about being open and transparent, right? So here's the thing, is that we actually did record this episode like a month or so ago. And then in the middle of the night, I get some messages from Carter, who is the person doing the editing and the filming. So I wake up to these messages the next day, and it's just like him sending me a photo of this SD card with little actual bites taken out of it. And he's all these apologies, and he's just like, yeah, so my dog ate the SD card with the footage on it. I was like, oh.
Oh, hilarious.
So I thought, okay, so he was, and just so I'm not, this isn't about throwing Carter under the bus. This is.
Oh, that's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the only reason you came today. These episodes are long, and he shoots other things, and so it was just figuring out storage options in the meantime, so he just hadn't offloaded that particular episode yet. But he did give me a bunch of different options as to how to reshoot this. And one of them was just to completely reshoot it, which I agree is the best way to go. But I was like, okay, well, now I have to tell Darren, and I really didn't want to just like text you about this. So I was like, hey, can we please talk face to face somehow? So we FaceTimed.
Yeah.
And luckily you were very nice about being willing to come back. But you're like, yeah, so I'm going to send Carter some dog emojis. And I was like, okay, you do. What do you have to do?
Picture of a dog and then a picture of a poop emoji. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else. But no, it's funny.
Just no context. That's what you sent him?
Yeah, I think so. Right. Anyway, it was funny. It was funny.
I think the thing that
I won't say.
I took it as you shit the bed and it's your dog's fault.
he took it as you shit the bed and it was the dog's fault.
I take it as shit happens.
Right.
Shit happens.
I think one of the funniest things was all three of us ended up doing background the following week. And then Carter pulls out this photo of his dog, and he's like, here's the culprit. And you just looked at him at the picture of the dog, and you were like, yeah, he looks full.
Oh my.
The lost episode is how we'll name it now. Yeah, absolutely.
So stand-in is
why don't you should probably fix your mic there.
Oh, did I mess it up?
Oh, here we go. Little tweak.
Uh-oh.
Where's Hubert to eat the mic? So we have a little interesting, I think it's a fun story that we lost on the episode that the dog ate.
Boy, poor
We're just going to bring it up the entire episode.
Every episode you do after
Every episode I do after this, I'll make sure Hubert's name is mentioned. Thank you so much for coming again.
Oh, no problem.
And hopefully the dog doesn't eat this one. And if he does, then I'll have to have my own separate podcast episode with the dog and have a conversation. Yeah, with the dog.
Oh, okay,
have a
okay.
full-on conversation with why he feels like he needs to do that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching season 1. I so appreciate it. What was your favorite moment this season? Let me know in the comments below. Well, we are going to go on a bit of a hiatus now, but we do have big plans for season 2. I've got new guests lined up. It's going to be brand new episodes, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, make sure you follow the Instagram account to stay in the loop with all of the podcast updates. Like this video if you liked it, and share the podcast with your friends. It really does help the show grow. And on that note, I say that's a wrap on season 1 of The Crew Up North.